What's up, ballers? It's Bobby Buckets back with another episode of NBA Live Mobile. Since I've been so busy past few days and haven't been able to upload much, to celebrate my being back, we are doing a 3 million coin pack opening, which I believe is the biggest ever to be put up on YouTube. So hopefully we are going to get some good pulls. I went ahead and recorded everything so that I would be able to get the packs open more quickly, since in my other videos it took me a long time to comment on the packs that I was opening as well as opening the packs. So hopefully this will go by a little bit faster and make it easier for me to focus on talking. So right now, not a lot going on in NBA Live Mobile. The playoffs are still moving along and we're waiting for the finals to come so that we can get those final sets to put our playoff cards into. But right now we do have two new spotlight players. We have an 83 overall Dwayne Wade because he has been playing out of his mind against the Raptors. I believe at one point he was 7 for 7 on threes in the series, which is crazy because he's like a 16% three-point shooter, which is just terrible. So pretty impressive that he's been doing that well. Also, Damian Lillard went off for 40 against it might have been more than 40 against the Warriors whenever they had the win a couple nights ago. So he's been playing really well. Not getting a whole lot of good pulls right now. This pack opening was actually a little bit disappointing. As you can see here, I wasn't having great pack luck, so I went over and tried switching up my lineup. So putting in bronze players for the silvers and golds. I didn't realize that I already had RJ Hunter in my lineup, so I couldn't use him. But tried swapping in some of these bronzes to see if that would help. Just based on the results that I saw, it didn't really help that much because I wasn't getting very good pulls for some reason. It was especially surprising since this was one of my biggest pack openings ever, and you'll see throughout, I pulled like lots of 81s or 80 to 83s, but really not that many elites, at least compared to what I'm used to getting. But you guys will see those later on. So yeah, right now we're still in the middle of the conference semifinals for the NBA. So let's see, we've got the Cavs just finished sweeping the Hawks. Not very surprised by that. I believe I predicted that, so that's about how I expected it to go. And then the other game, as we pull, I actually pulled quite a few playoff cards in this pack opening, which was pretty surprising. And there we go. We get that DeMarcus Cousins. I've actually never pulled him from a pack before. For a while, I thought you couldn't even pull him in this game because I had him in my All-NBA team builder, and I had never seen his card before. So that was a pretty nice pull. I think he goes for a decent amount. And we got a Kobe Bryant there, so that's pretty good. But right now, let's see. Why can't I remember who else is playing in these? So we got the Hawks got swept. Hawks got swept by the Cavs, and then the Heat and Raptors are playing. That has actually been a really good series. They've had 4 games so far, and 3 of those games have gone into overtime. So last night, the Heat won and tied the series at 2-2. So I would say that's probably been the best series to watch so far in the playoffs. The West has been pretty good too. I think the Thunder and Spurs are tied at 2-2. I'm having a hard time remembering. I know that the Thunder ended up taking one from the Spurs in San Antonio, but then in Game 3, the Spurs took that one back, so they were back to even. As we pull that DeMar DeRozan, another decent pull, but not a lot of great pulls yet, and we get another playoff card. So that series has been pretty good. Just based off what happened in the first series, as we get an Isaiah Thomas there, pretty good pull. The very first game, the Thunder got absolutely demolished by the Spurs, so I was kind of disappointed. It was looking like it was going to be a super slow, disappointing series where the Spurs were going to destroy the Thunder. But since then, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook have been playing like their usual selves and basically scoring all of their team's points. Although they have had some help from waiters. Gotten some help from Adams and Cantor, all those supporting guys. They just got Westbrook and Durant really need to learn to trust those guys. Otherwise, they're going to have no chance at winning a championship. But that has actually turned into a pretty good series. And then the big news for this week in the NBA has been Steph Curry. Last night was actually his first night back after his knee injury. So I'm on the East Coast, which means the games are super late for me. Like any West Coast game usually ends around 1 or 1:30 for me, which is just later than I'd like to stay up because I like to get my sleep. So at halftime, I believe Steph had 6 points. He wasn't shooting very well, as we get a double gold right there with a Lance Stevenson playoff card. Steph wasn't playing that well, so I was like, well, it looks like it's not going to be a very entertaining game. It looked like the Trailblazers were going to run away with it because Clay wasn't playing that well either. So I ended up going to bed, woke up in the morning, and my friend had texted me about, oh my gosh, look at what Steph is doing, all this. So I was like, wow, okay, apparently I missed an amazing game. Checked the ESPN app, looked at his stats. He ended with 40 points after he had 6 at halftime. So apparently he had 17 points in overtime. As we pull a Tim Duncan right there, there we go. We get another elite. So I've actually never pulled that card before either. Not great base stats, but I'm sure his hidden stats are really good. But back to Steph's performance last night. So he had 17 points in overtime, which is actually the record for the NBA for the most points ever scored in a single overtime period. So that just in and of itself was impressive. He had 40 and I believe 9 assists and 8 rebounds. So almost had a triple-double, had 40 points, pretty much carried the team on his back and helped his team beat the Trailblazers. So Clay did have a better second half. I think he finished with 25, but Steph really was the story of the night. He had to have more minutes because Sean Livingston ended up getting ejected because he got a technical, and then for some reason he decided it would be a good idea to continue to argue his technical, so he got a second one and got ejected. So we get another double gold there with a playoff card, so that was a pretty good one. So yeah, Steph ended up having to play a lot more minutes than they thought he was going to have to, but it ended up paying off. He wasn't shooting incredibly well from 3. I think he finished 5 for 16 from 3, but he shot 50% from the field, so it averaged out pretty well. Let's see. Oh, and this morning they announced that Steph Curry is the first ever unanimous MVP for the NBA. So that's pretty big news. Pretty much everybody knew that he was going to win MVP because he was the best player on a team that set the NBA record for most wins in a season. So pretty much everybody saw that coming. I'm not sure everybody saw that he was going to be unanimous. So that was pretty impressive. The closest ever behind that was Shaq in his 98-99 season, I believe. So Shaq missed it by 1 vote. Steph Curry got every single first place vote. Second place was Kawhi Leonard. Third was LeBron. Fourth was Westbrook. And fifth was Kevin Durant, I believe. So I actually wasn't expecting Kawhi to do that well. I'm guessing it's partially because of his defense. He's definitely, I would say, at least ahead above all those other players defensively. Not that they're not capable of playing good defense, but he plays better defense on a regular basis as compared to all those other guys. So he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next few years as he continues to improve. Seems like he's improving a lot more than everybody else. As we get a Kristaps Porzingis impact card right there, that's actually a good pull because that card will probably sell for at least $50K. At least from the last time that I saw. I haven't checked those cards in a while, but I can't imagine that they've changed too much. I think that possibly one reason for the change in the number of elites that we're pulling is because of what happened with. Apparently, it wasn't a hack that people used all those coins to buy up all the elite cards. Apparently, it was people who had stored up money for months and months and then spent all their money to buy up all the elite cards and then gave them all away. As we pull another Brandon Knight impact card right there. So, actually getting an unusual amount of those. Usually don't pull either of those guys. So those are actually pretty good pulls. But apparently, those guys that have been stacking up their coins decide to go on a spending spree, buy up all the elites, and then sell them all for 101 coins. Even if they got those coins without hacking the game, there's no doubt in my mind that they botted to get those coins. So either way, they were intentionally trying to screw up the economy of the game. So I'm guessing that EA kind of lowered the odds of getting elites because the prices for elites got way jacked up. I believe it was down to like 60K for an elite, and usually it's around 70K. So the prices, if we get another Brandon Knight impact card alongside that Tim Duncan, another good pull. So actually getting some good impact pulls, but not a lot of good player pulls. But I believe this is just my guess based on what I've seen, because usually over the span of 3 million coins, you'll end up getting some ups and some downs, but it doesn't seem like there's been a whole lot of ups, at least in the players that I'm pulling. So I'm guessing EA probably did something to sort of even out the kind of the supply of elite cards, so I'm guessing they kind of lowered the odds. Still haven't pulled a what cards? Oh, the new Spotlight Damian Lillard card, which is kind of disappointing. I imagined I was probably talking about the playoffs earlier and pulled a Dwayne Wade card, because I know I pulled at least one of that one. I was actually thinking for some reason that the base Dwayne Wade card was 83, so it would be an 85 for his Spotlight card. Forgot that it was actually an 81 for his base card, so I was a little bit disappointed when I saw that until I realized what was actually going on. Honestly, based on how he was playing, he probably deserved more than an 83, just based on how much he was dominating the Raptors, but EA is going to be like that. So there were some people on the forums that were talking about how they hoped for a Kevin Durant Spotlight card because of his 40-point game. That would have been nice, but knowing EA, they're not going to drop any card that's probably higher than an 86, because that would compare with the award winners and with the supremacy cards, and with the legends. So I kind of figured they wouldn't give us anything better than an 86. I believe James Harden and Kawhi Leonard 86 spotlight cards are the best spotlights that we've had. So I'm guessing they won't give us anything higher than an 86 until the finals cards come in. Getting a little bit impatient for the finals because the NBA playoffs take so long. They're like a 2-month thing, so we have to wait like a month and a half until we can actually start working towards those final cards. But fortunately, I have lots and lots of playoff cards stacked up on both of my accounts. Actually end up getting a lot of playoff cards just in this pack opening, which was kind of surprising because the last time I did a big pack opening, I didn't really pull that many playoff cards. But it might be EA switching the odds around. It might just be my luck depending on the day. But yeah, so saving up those playoff cards. Hopefully we'll get some sort of new event before the finals. We haven't really had anything new. We have those playoff events that we can play, but I've never pulled a playoff card from that. I'm not sure if they're done with the Kobe events yet. I thought that was just going to be like a 1-week thing. It ended up happening for several weeks afterwards. There we go. We get that Dwayne Wade card. That might actually be the first time I pulled it, but you can see pretty good stats for dribbling speed, decent shooting. Based on his performance, I wish his 3-point was higher, but you can't always get every single aspect of the card right, so not a bad card. Probably selling for relatively high right now since the card just came out, so I'll probably go ahead and sell most of those if I am able to. Let's see. So yeah, still not a lot of events going on. They've had award winners and supremacy going on since the very beginning of the game. I don't know anybody that's been playing since the beginning that doesn't already have every single one of those cards, so not really worth it for me. I guess they could bring out more award winners, especially now that all of the award winners for the year have been announced, but I don't see that happening. it would be pretty sweet if they updated it with all the new players. So if they had a new award winner set for this year's Steph Curry, and then if they had another, I guess that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because we already have an award winner Curry and an award winner Kawhi Leonard, and they both ended up winning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. They might have one for Most Improved Player of the Year, which was C.J. McCollum, so I could kind of see them doing that. I imagine that card would probably be pretty good. Uh, I definitely think it would have a good 3-point stat because right now I believe his 3-pointer is 90, and that's just for a regular gold base card. So if that got improved on, he could be the best 3-point shooter in the game, passing that Kyle Korver card. But we would have to wait and see. I'm trying to think. The sixth man of the year, I think it was Andre Iguodala. Pretty sure that it was, but I'm not positive on that. If you guys know and want to comment below, go ahead and let me know if it was or wasn't Iguodala. I'm relatively certain it was because pretty much on any other team he would have been a starter, but since he plays for the Warriors and they just have so many good players all around, he had to come in as the sixth man, so there are a lot of players on their team that would be starters on other teams, especially if they were on like the 76ers, which is actually where Iguodala used to play, so he went from one of the worst teams in the league to the very best team in the league, which is good for him. He doesn't get as much playing time, but I can imagine if I were in that position, I would rather win championships than get a little bit of extra playing time, so you probably noticed I have a bunch of cards being sold. I ended up getting my card inventory completely filled up, which has actually never happened to me before, surprisingly. I think that was the result of me doing a lot of pack openings and then being too lazy to sell my bronzes. So those kept piling up, so I had to sell a bunch of those. That's what's selling right now. So those won't really get me that many cards, but I mean, if you think about it, if I have like 1,000 of those in my inventory, even if I'm only selling them for 400 apiece, that's still like 400,000 coins. So it's actually a lot of coins when you think about it. It's just a pain in the butt to have to go and sell all of them. But that's mostly what's selling right now. Also some elites that I pulled. Not elites, silvers that I pulled that I had just forgotten to sell. Because I had been pretty busy the past few weeks with exams, but I am done now. So hopefully I can get some videos out ahead of time because I will be very busy during the summer. Hopefully I can make some videos and schedule them to come out so that I don't have to have a lot of big spans where I don't have any videos coming out. And I know that a lot of you will have a lot more free time because it's the summer. So hopefully we can have some pretty entertaining content. I believe I have a source that hasn't talked to me in a while, but they said that the game would most likely... Oh, as we get a Damian Lillard right there, our third elite, I believe, which isn't really that great considering how many packs we've opened, but that's all right. But the source said the game was probably coming out at the end of June or beginning of July, which would make sense because that is when the playoffs are going to end. I believe that's going to be the end of the finals. So hopefully when it launches worldwide, we get a lot of good new content. Hopefully we'll get leagues, which will help us a bunch. I believe for leagues in Madden, there are some super good players that you can earn. So I'll probably try to set up my own league just to get some subscribers in there. It's definitely going to be people who are very active in the game. Once that happens, I'll probably be playing a lot more head-to-head games. So I will be recruiting people with relatively high fans. Right now, I am actually not even in the rankings for fans because I had gone so long without playing a head-to-head game. It just completely dropped me off. So once the game goes worldwide, I will definitely be doing that and recruiting people who are able to play a lot of head-to-head games. So hopefully we can get some of those rewards from the leagues. As we're getting to the end of this pack opening, Still getting lots of 80s and 81s, but not getting many elites. I believe that Damian Lillard is the last elite that I pulled, which is super surprising because even at the beginning when I did pack openings and I didn't have very good luck, I spent 1,000,000 coins in my very first pack opening and got 2 elites. I only got, as we get another Dwayne Wade right there, spotlight, so another decent pull, but it's not an elite. I spent 3,000,000 coins and only pulled 3 elites, which is just a terrible odds. So I don't know if I'm having bad pack luck, if EA changed the pack odds. I did see somebody that said they pulled the Spotlight Lillard in their very first pack. So maybe I just had really bad pack luck today. I was going to do the pack opening last night, but then realized they were going to have 2 new Spotlight cards today, so I really wanted to try to get those. So I got the Dwayne Wade card, didn't manage to get the Lillard card. It's alright because I wasn't actually going to use him in my lineup. I just prefer to get those at the beginning when their prices are high to be able to sell them for a decent amount. So last week's Spotlight cards were... Who was it? Might have been Isaiah Thomas. That sounds right. Maybe Isaiah and Clay. I don't know. I usually do a episode for the Spotlight cards, but I was just too busy studying for stuff, so I didn't really have time to do it. But hopefully I'll be able to get back to doing that, and hopefully we'll get some new events that I can get some more entertaining content on. I am going to be doing an episode on the most underrated players in the game, so obviously whenever the new ratings come out for next season, the players probably won't be as underrated anymore, but planning on doing an episode with that, just to give you guys my thoughts on who I think is underrated in the game, and you guys can vote on that. I'll probably have some polls just so you guys can give your input on that, but that's coming to a close for this episode. Let's see, we've got a couple packs left. Let's see, we started at 350k, so probably 6 packs left, maybe less. As we get a Jared Sullinger there, I can't even remember. Mike Dunleavy, let's see if we can get some good pulls in the last few. Zach LaVine, he'll sell for a little bit more because he can dunk well, but not that good. Joakim Noah, not worth a whole lot. Let's see, last couple, and we get Darren Collison. Well, that was disappointing. We'll just open one more for fun and see what we can get. Oh, Jordan Clarkson, even more disappointing. I do have an extra pack in my items because I wasn't able to open it because my inventory was full, so maybe we'll be able to get something good out of that. Let's see. Device is loading slow because I'm on my iPhone that is very old and cracked, and I need a new recording device, but I can't afford one. Let's see what we can get from this. Open pack, and we get... Drew Holiday. So, that's going to be it for this episode. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.